Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to DM Tales for another Ramble stream. And happy Easter for folks who are participating. My faith tradition, we say He is risen. And it's Sunday night, and I'm really, really tired. And I don't even know if anybody's going to watch tonight. But I've been reading this book, Coriolis the Great Dark. You can see I am about that far into it, into the game, running sections of it. Kind of fun. But I started making characters yesterday, and I have made a few, and I want to demonstrate kind of the process of at least how I'm figuring it out right now, and thought maybe folks might want to see that if you are interested in this system at all. And also, let me know if you think the sound is any better. I put some sound tiles up on the sidewall over here and actually above my head. With my lav, it did cut down on the reflections a lot. So I'm hoping that it works for this bigger mic as well. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to show you the process. And I just want to explain a couple things. So first off, you can see that I have... ooh, my mouse doesn't show up. I'm going to have to fix that. But anyway, I'll highlight it. So I have first crew over there. You can see I have 4 characters. The crew name is Mosca's Seekers. I'll give it one thing there. And Pyrex is their bird. Everybody has a bird, or every crew has a bird, which helps protect them while they're on their delves. But really, before I could completely finish the character build process, I needed to have 4 characters because each character gets a role in the delve. So you have the delver who kind of goes first, the scout who pokes around corners to make sure things aren't going to kill them, the guard who's the tank heavy type, and the burrower is the person who's the demo expert. If there's a black door or there's something we need to dig through, that's what the burrower does. They all get different maneuvers, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But the crew gets a maneuver. Everybody, as far as I can read it, every member of the crew gets a specific maneuver that they can do. And there's a list that you can choose from, and then as the crew continues to advance, they actually get more. Hey, Eric. They actually can get more maneuvers. You have to spend experience points to get them, so you improve the crew. But the cool thing is that you can change roles during the delve because you're all kind of getting this training. And if something happens, then it would be kind of funny. You can switch the roles up. I got distracted by a notification. So anyway, so that's why you need the 4 characters. I'm not going to go through the whole building 4 characters tonight, but I just wanted to show you that that's kind of why you need 4 characters, and it's why I have that folder over there with first crew and then second crew, which has just Explorer 1, which is a blank character sheet in it. So there is a method to do this, and here's the step-by-step. So you roll or choose your origin and take its talent. And let me arrange this a little bit so we can see everything. There we go. Then you choose your profession, and there's several of them. I'll show you guys what those are. And each profession will have a couple of specialties that they can do. Distribute 24 points to your 6 attributes. That's a little bit misleading. It's not completely misleading, but it's a little bit misleading. I'll show you why in a second. And then calculate your health, hope, and heart scores, which I don't need to do because the sheet and Foundry does it automatically. 3 additional talent points. So the way I think that it entails is that you can either pick 3 new talents from your list of talents that you can pick, or assign a level to a talent, which gives you more of a bonus. You can't have more than 2 when you start out. Name and appearance, and then how you became an explorer. So that's kind of all the things that's going on there. Oh, there's my mouse now. Yay. So that's kind of what's going on with this. So what we're going to do is we're going to do choosing the origin first. And I think I can roll that script right from here. So what this is going to do when I run this script is it's going to choose my origin as to what section of town or part of the charted sphere that I come from, the faction among the humans that are part of this group, which is called the diaspora, and a contact. It's actually 3 separate tables, and it's going to put them together. So I'm going to run this macro. Do it. There we go. So somewhere in the eternal fog of the haze. So my origin is the haze. My talent, and every origin gets a talent. So my talent is sleight of hand, and my associated faction is the Black Toad, which actually I have a couple of people who are Black Toad. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to Bio, go to Origin, and it's the haze. I forget what the haze is. I'm going to look at that up in a second. Associated faction is the Black Toad. They're the black market and the smugglers and whatnot. So they're kind of fun. It's a criminal organization. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're a criminal organization, but that's your background. And then sleight of hand, we're going to drag that out, and that will go over to my talent. You can see I get a bonus of 1 anytime I'm trying to use tricks with my hands and whatnot. So kind of cool. Alrighty then. So that's the first step in the origin. I also have my contact, Bone Breaker Vagal Flash. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, and we'll put that in contacts. It's going to paste in with formatting. You'll see. Clear that formatting out, and we'll save it. Okay, so there's the font choice for the character sheet is really interesting. It's like a comic type font. I'm kind of interested in just why they would have chosen that. So there's my origin. Let's go back to the origins again. So now we're going to choose our profession. And where's my profession? Okay, so here's the professions you can pick. Now, my origin is I am in the haze, and I'm going to try to find out what that is in a second. So give me a second here. But I can be an artist, an enforcer, an esoteric, which is like a cultist type people, odd jobber, all over the place, the roughneck, the heavies, scholar, a scoundrel, or a traveler. So scoundrel, you would think makes the most sense, but I want to see what the haze actually is. So let's look at the haze here. It's the lower part of the chasm. So in the Coriolis, the Great Dark, you've left the previous setting for Coriolis behind. So it's the same universe, but it's many, many years removed and far removed. Apparently at the end of the story arc for Coriolis, the Third Horizon, a diaspora of people left the Third Horizon following an old signal, and it disappeared. And they kind of coasted into this system that they're currently in. But the gate that allowed instantaneous travel between places has been deactivated for some reason, which is kind of fun. Oh, you went all in with the fancy cover and everything. I got the book for Christmas. My daughter got it for me, and I've really enjoyed it. So it's kind of fun. And I have the GM screen on the way. They coasted into the system. The portals are dead, so they're kind of stuck here. And they found a big asteroid, and they were trying to use it as a way station, and they essentially used all the holes from their fleet, and they created what's called Ship City. And so there's a kind of a map of it right there. Let's see if I can actually bring that out. Give me a second here. Can I bring that up? Oh, look at that. There we go. Look at that. So that's Ship City, which is, it's kind of cool looking. So the chasm, let me get out of here. It won't let me get out of that thing. Okay, fine. So the chasm is a part of the city. It's 2. I'm trying to see where 2 is on here. It's so small on my screen. Here it is. You can see kind of it goes down. And of course now my mouse is not showing up again. Come on, there we go. You can see how it kind of goes down for that. So I'm the haze, apparently. Close this. There we go. so the haze is the lower part of, oh, I remember what now from the Lord. So the haze is the lower part of the chasm due to the near constant fog enveloping the area. So it's condensation is kind of dropping down. So it's a very dangerous place to grow up. So actually Scoundrel kind of fits if he's from the haze and he's with the black toad. So why don't we pick that as his profession? Scoundrel, EL, not AL. All right, so now the Scoundrel here. Life on the rock was tough, but so were you. When life gave you lemons, you made Blight juice and sold it. Blight is kind of the bad stuff. Very, very fun. I can give a first name, last name here. What I've been doing with it is I've been rolling and kind of adjusting the names to kind of fit what I want. But Aruma sounds kind of a fun name. And we'll give them a surname. Cood. Actually, that sounds fun too. Let's just do that. There we go. All right, so their key attribute for a scoundrel is perception, because they're, constantly looking at things and trying to make sure that they can't get caught, basically. So that's going to be it. And you can see key talents are acrobat, charmer, lookout, and stealthy. We're going to get that to in a minute there. And we do get a starting equipment. So let's roll the starting equipment for the scoundrel. So he's going to start with heavy tools. Got to break into something. Lock picks. And a flamer. What's a flamer? Let's bring that up. Info. No info. Config. Close combat. Oh. Ooh, it's a close combat weapon. Kind of fun. After combat, a supply point must be spent to recharge the weapon. So we can talk about that in a little bit. So that's their starting equipment. Now what we want to do is we're going to charge a specialty, or set up a specialty for the scoundrel. So you can see you can be a guild spy. So those are the factions inside Ship City. This is all the different groups that have kind of emerged from the old factions. Like the old factions have gone away, and like these new factions have gone, and then their guilds, they control certain aspects of life in Ship City. So a guild spy would be somebody who, kind of like sneaks into one guild and infiltrates in order to get some information for the other guild. They're constantly at each other's throats trying to protect each other's turf, because humans are stupid that way. And our free talent is going to be whatever of these 6 that we pick. So each one has a talent that it comes with. So let's roll the scoundrel specialty tables, and our free talent is stealthy. I'm going to put that in. So get 1+1 base die per talent level for staying hidden. Cannot be used for ambushes, which that kind of stinks, but oh well. So we have that now. And we're going to put that on there. Guild spy. So empires weren't built in a day. Neither were the guilds. We have to keep ourselves strong. So that's kind of what's going on with that. Now, let's see what the next step is. So we've chosen our profession, got our specialty and its talent, and now we're distributing 24, and I'm putting that in quotes, and I'll show you why in a second, on all your 6 attributes. So here's why it's kind of misleading. Your minimum value for your 6 attributes is 2. So there must be at least 2 in each of your attributes, which means that you really only get 12 points to spend. So it probably should have just been said that way, because I was like very disappointed. And so I am a scoundrel. So let's go back down to scoundrel. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Scoundrel. And our key attribute is perception. So we need to do 12 points. Hey, Philip, how you doing, man? How you doing? I'm making a Coriolis, the Great Dark character. So perception is going to be the most, so I'm going to put 3 into that, which means we have 9, not 2, 3, 3. There we go. So now we have 9 left to do. So keep track of this with me. This is where I get screwed up. We have to total 24 at the end, and I'll do that. Now, because they are a perception type person, I think we're going to give them some good agility. I'm going to put that as 5, so that's another 3, so now I got 6 left to spend. Not doing much better. My left side cramped and had chime machine and punch my muscles loosened. Okay. Dang, you were not feeling well? Yeeks. Well, I'm glad you're doing much better. All right, so I have 6 left to spend. And you can see combinations of these attributes are what's going to go to your health, your hope, and your heart. So right now I've got agility and strength, I think, are the 2 that give me health. I think it's empathy and insight that give me heart, or give me hope, and it's logic and perception that give me heart. Let me actually see that. So I'm going to just temporarily change insight to heart is saying 8 right now. And I just need to know what the thing says. Give me a second here. Calculate your health, hope, and heart. See, I'm still learning with all of you. Health is the sum. Health is the sum of your strength and agility. Yep. Hope is the sum of logic and empathy, and heart is insight and perception. So that's where we go. So you want to have a little bit of a balance in there, which is kind of fun. So I've got 6 more to spend. I'm going to put this back down to 2. So 6 more to spend. I'm going to put 2 on strength. So now I've got 4 more to spend. Do I want a lot of empathy? Maybe I don't want to make him that insightful. Empathy, maybe. Actually, insightful, not empathy. No, grew up in the haze. 4 and 4 in logic. So let's add up. So 10, 8, 22, 24. There we go. So I've got someone who is, moderately strong, pretty perceptive, very agile, had to dodge out of the way of things, logical, insightful, but not very empathetic because he grew up down in the haze, which is a terrible side of town. Hey, Jordan, how are you? And it is a really cool interface. I am impressed with it. And so leaving empathy as low is pretty good. So he's got 9 health, 6 hope, 9 heart. So what are these 3 things? So here's from what I remember, because I'm still reading the book right now. So health is physical damage, as you would normally expect. Hope is going to be when you push a roll and it fails. Anything that's on your base dice. You have 2 types of dice in this game. You have base dice and gear dice. So if you're using a tool, it's going to give you some extra dice that uses a different color. So hope, anytime you push a roll and you roll 1s with it, you're going to take a hit to your hope in this game. And then heart is, I believe, is what blight does to you. So blight is like this awful infestation that destroyed the civilization that the Aspera stumbled upon, and you can get affected by it. So having a lot of heart is probably a good thing if you're going to go into blight infested areas. Kind of cool there. So we've got the 24 points on our 6 attributes. We really only had 12 to spend because you got to have 2 on each. And we calculated our health, hope, and heart scores. And now we get 3 additional talent points. So let's look at our talents really quick. I have sleight of hand and stealthy. That's kind of fun. I have 3 more levels to do. Now it also says that I can't start with any more than 2 in any one of my talents, which is making me think that I can pick 2 more talents or 3 more talents Or if I only pick, depending on how many new towns I pick, I can actually assign another level to one of those towns. So I want him to be stealthy because stealthy is fun. Current level 2. There we go. Which means I got 2 more levels to do. And we're going to go to the towns that I can pick from. I can make an acrobat, a charmer, a lookout. Stealthy he's already got. So let's look out. +1 base dice per talent level to rolls for spotting approaching threats. That could be helpful in a delve if something is coming out of the shadows for us. And acrobat is you get +1 base die per talent level to jumping, climbing, and running. Also very good. So you know what? I'm going to add those 2. Lookout first, and then acrobat. Very good. Cool. The Klingon diaspora. Maybe not that far off, except they are way farther away from civilization than the Klingon diaspora was. So there we go with that. And now we're going to roll their starting equipment for the scoundrel. Let's see what they got here. Oh, we already did that, didn't I? Never mind, I already did that for him. I always forget that when I do that. All right, so we did the 3 additionals. Now we can roll or choose a quirk. And quirks are a lot of fun. So let me see if I can find it. Quirk, here we go. What's your quirk? Very sleepy. Oh my gosh. I like that. There we go. That kind of fun. We already did equipment. Let's do starting capital. The haze, 3d6 times 100 rook. Okay, that's actually pretty good. And he did not roll well. So 6, 8. So 800 rook. Rook is the currency. There we go. Back over to bio. Keepsake is just something you keep. You can just hope. The sake of recover 1 hope by playing out a small scene or just describing how the keepsake helped you recover. Kind of fun with that. I like Free League puts this in a lot of their games, and I kind of like it. That's just like some sentimental object that you have that makes you feel a little bit more secure. Very human. And a well-used journal is the keepsake. That goes under equipment. There we go. And the explorer's appearance. A crimson robe. Ooh. Wonder why he's wearing a crimson robe. Sounds pretty good to me. And the last thing is, why did you become an explorer? So, talked a little bit about all the guilds. The newest guild for Ship City is called the Explorers Guild, and it's actually the smallest one. And the reason why you need to have the Explorers Guild is because even though the portals are dead, they have found something called the slipstream, which allows fast, in quotes, fast travel between different star systems. And they've charted out almost like a river, charted out different branches of the slipstream to get to other planets and stars and colonies. It's not a very vibrant area. It's very resource light, and it's very dangerous to travel from place to place. And Ship City is the city where, like, the only major city in the entirety of this game. And for you to leave and become an explorer, you're leaving relative safety, even though Ship City is called the dying city because it's kind of fallen apart. For you to leave that is kind of a big deal. So what motivated you to do this? It was your childhood dream. So that's kind of fun. Which, okay, so you're seeing a character form just through a couple of rolls here. Very sleepy, probably has been living on stress for most of their lives. They project it out as being tired all the time. They grew up in the Haze, which is kind of like the most undesirable area of Ship City. Very, very dangerous. So got connected to the Black Toad, which are the criminal organization in Ship City. And but it was your dream to get out there and explore, and you've achieved your dream. So that's kind of the start for him, which is kind of cool. So essentially, for the character itself, I'm not going to give their crew equipment right now because sometimes I choose crew equipment based on what role they're playing. But I will give them their supply because they get 1d6 supply. So let's roll that. 4. So you saw how in Flamer, I'm going to equip that in hand. Features. So after combat, it's powered. So it is a powered thing. And it says after combat, a supply point must be spent to recharge the weapon. So inside Coriolis the Great Dark, everything that it would be a consumable is basically obfuscated into this idea of a supply. Ammunition is a supply. If you're powering something for a close combat, it is a supply. You're breathing air on a delve in a vacuum, it's a supply. So everything is there. Are you going to try this solar or just building this to feel it out? Actually, where's my mouse? Let's bring that up there. Actually, what I'm hoping to do is actually run it with some friends for a couple of sessions. So I'd like to run it. I'm not really good at solo play. I am building it to feel it out. I'm going to see what the process is, just see how many different characters I can create. But that'd be kind of fun. I don't know if I could do solo, Phil. I really don't. But supply is that it's abstracted is the word I was looking for. I'm tired. I've been up since 4:30. So it's abstracted to that. So everything you're using as you go through different things, you're going to need to consume supplies. And I need to go back and look at the delve rules. But I think the delve rules is like every so many zones or markers that you go to, you have to check off one supply for your oxygen. Now, the cool thing is, let me bring my mouse back over to my other screen here. When you have supply, first crew, Muska's Seekers, you can see total supplies are there. And here's why. When you are breathing oxygen, it's not the supply just for you, it's for the entire crew. So there's like, you don't need to have, like, if you have 4 people, you don't need 4 supplies for your oxygen. That's the supply of the crew. When you're reloading and repowering a weapon, that's coming from that's going to apply just to you. But at least like your breathing and your food and water are going to be by the group. But as your individual players or characters run out of supply, the group is running out of supply, and there's not a whole lot of places to replenish when you're out on a delve, so you want to stock up quick. And that's kind of a big deal for that. You do get certain things as an explorer. You get a hand blaster and a delve suit that offers a little bit of protection against blight and damage. And it's really kind of cool. The mechanics are quite simple. It is a year 0 engine. So you're rolling a pool of dice. Those numbers for each of the attributes are the number of dice that you roll. Those are called base dice. You have talents right here. So I have sleight of hand, stealthy, lookout, and acrobat. I can make a case that I'm using one of my talents here for an attack or a check. I can make an argument that I'm going to get an extra base die, or depending on the level, 2 stealthy there. Can't use that for ambushes though. And I'm going to roll, and if I have equipment, so let's see, I had the flamer in hand. You can see that that's going to give me a 2 bonus. So basically that means I'm going to get 2 extra dice. It's going to roll a different color. So kind of fun. So let's actually see the flamer work here. Let's attack. So you can see it's using strength automatically because it's a melee weapon. A flamer giving me 2 there. And I can now add a talent. So lookout doesn't work, sleight of hand doesn't work, stealthy I've been told I'm not allowed to use it for ambush, so that doesn't help me out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, to get to this thing, I am going to try to dive over a boulder and kind of jump out at it. And I'm going to give myself an extra base die for that. I don't know even if I was the GM I would allow that, but it sounds pretty cool. So we're going to add that. So now I've got 5 base dice and 2 of the gear dice, and we're going to do a public roll, and let's see what shows up. Oh, you know what? Give me a second here. Let's get the chat log on. Make sure that... it's just a public roll. Oh, we can't do it. Hold on. Give me a second. One thing I don't like is that when you create your stuff, it doesn't automatically put your points in for your health. So I was broken, so technically I shouldn't have been able to do anything. All right, let's try this again. Flamer. Attack. And I'm going to show the reload recharge weapon in a second. That does take an action. We're going to add the talent. Acrobat. And let's do a public roll. All right, so right now I have 1 success, which means I do the base damage of the flamer, which is 2. So if I had a creature that was selected, I'd be able to do 2 points of damage to it that would take from its health score. However, the thing might have armor. I have to try to break through it. Maybe I need to push my roll. Well, I got a problem. So I rolled 2 1s on my base dice. So basically that means is if I push this roll, those 2 1s and any more 1s are going to take away from my hope. I don't have a lot of hope. I grew up in the haze. So that's going to be a dangerous thing, but in a desperate situation, maybe I want to push the roll. So let's push. And I did, and I got 2 more 1s on the base dice. And look at my hope, all the way down from 6 to 2. Now I did do some extra damage, so I did 3 points, but I've lost 4 hope. I like how it summarizes everything. The interface for this is actually very, very good. And then I can apply the damage. If I had a token that was targeted, I would apply the damage automatically. Pretty cool. Now let's watch what happens here. There's my equipment. I say I have to use a supply in order to recharge it after an attack. So I click again the next turn, and here's a reload recharge weapon. Oh, it's a roll. What kind of roll is it? Weapon reloaded, recharge. Supply is consumed 1, supply is available 3. And you can actually see that. Supply got checked off. Pretty slick in Foundry VTT. It really is. It's very, very nice. And yes, this is Foundry VTT. Free League does some very good implementations of their systems inside Foundry, like really good. Their Dragonbane is my favorite that I've ever used. But Forbidden Lands is really, really good. They don't have one for Electric State, but the third-party one is terrific. So they tend to do some really good stuff. This is pretty. And if you want to see Coriolis the Third Horizon, we can log out and I can try to open that up really quick. Because the interface is, I think, much better for this version. I actually think the books are much better for this one too. But very, very cool. But that's essentially the character. Last thing I want to do while I'm thinking of it is change my prototype token, since I changed my name later. give it the name. I always have it always on for the owner for the name, and they're friendly. There we go. So all I basically need now is artwork, and this character is done. So to do a full thing, like a full crew, I would need at least 4. Where's my character? There's my actors. So you need at least a delver, a scout, a guard, and a burrower. The archaeologist is the last one. And the reason why you want those crews, because all those different roles are going to give you those specific crew moves. The archaeologist gives you another set, but they're not absolutely essential to the to going on a delve. It just really helps. When you are making your crew, you are also going to make your bird. And this is the bird sheet for that. They get a name, they have a look, like this one for my first crew is deep purple, has 2 heads, and is greedy, so that's going after your treasure. It has health and energy. Energy is what it needs to spend in order to use its abilities. And the birds are essentially there to protect the delvers, or the explorers. They seem to have been bioengineered by this race, the civilization that collapsed, in order to resist this blight infection that's going out, and so that's kind of how the explorers use it. They pair really well with at least one of the characters who becomes the handler. You can see in this party it's Yara Vasmin, who is the companion who has a special device to kind of get information from the birds. The birds are biomechanical, they're engineered. But here's the thing with the creation right now. Couple of issues. One, just by reading the book, and I've gone over it a couple other times, when you are using a crew maneuver in any situation, so in a combat, each of the crew members can use their ability or their crew maneuver once per combat. Now, the way I'm reading that is that each of the roles gets to use one ability or one maneuver per combat, which is cool. It does not say how many abilities the crew learns at start, at least from what I've seen in going through. I'm kind of intimating that every crew member learns one maneuver, or they learn one maneuver for each role in the group, but it could just mean that they get one maneuver, and the person who runs that particular role that's tied to that maneuver gets to use it. So I'm a little confused in that. I want to get a little bit more clarification. I do know you don't get all of your maneuvers, because part of the way that you advance your crew is you spend experience points and you get more maneuvers. Kind of cool. Same thing with the bird. So the bird gets a special ability. Raptor's Call is this one. So it's linked to the ward. And then there's basic abilities that, from what I gather, every bird has, no matter what. So all the basic abilities, so I put them all there. At least that's as far as I read it. There's these 2 things are pretty important aspects of the game. I would have expected a little bit more information on how to set them up put in. But it's not too hard once I kind of begin to figure it out. But it was a little rough to start. But so you have those birds that kind of send you out. One of the things that you do is you send them deep down at the delves. The delves are all vertical. And they wing and kind of send back points for the delve, and then fly back. So you have a rough map of what you're going to. As you go down, you can tell how far you're going to go, how much oxygen you're going to need, that sort of thing. Kind of cool. You also need to do which I have not done yet, a cart or a rover of some kind to get you to your delve spot, and a shuttle. So you're flying out. And sometimes you're going to be in combat with other people from Ship City, because you're all trying to compete to get first dibs on a delve. It's not a nice setting. It's fascinating. There's a lot of interesting things in it, but it's definitely not nice. So, but it's a very interesting and a cool character setup. One thing I mean, I saw this in Electric State and I didn't mind it. But one thing that really drew me to Year Zero Engine with things like Mutant Year Zero, which I thought was a little too brutal for me to actually play, and Forbidden Lands, is that when you took damage, it actually damaged your attributes directly. So the more you took damage, your attributes were getting hurt. I thought that was really cool. This abstracts it a little bit to where now it's the combination of your attributes, but you're never reducing the number of dice you're rolling. That makes me kind of sad because I liked that idea of things becoming more and more desperate the more you get hurt, because I'm down to one strength. I can only roll one thing to hit something with my sword. That was kind of fun. But maybe people didn't think that was as fun. So let me go over to just me for a second. Come on. It's bad. There we go. Had to be my mouse on the right thing. So what I'm going to do is I want to show you Coriolis' The Third Horizons interface, because it's not anywhere near as good. It's also older. If I still have the thing set up. I'm going to have to make it really quick. Give me 1 second. Let's create a new game. There we go. Coriolis, The Third Horizon. All right. So just created a quick world. I'm going to launch it really quick. When I have test systems, and I'll just delete them if I'm not using them to save me space. And Coriolis was a really cool game, and the setting was wild. And I've said this a lot on channel. I don't think the book functioned well as a book. Like, it did not do a good job being readable. It was beautiful. It just didn't do a good job being readable. A lot of skeuomorphic elements and reverse contrast text and things that just kind of hurt it for me. Let me get through this tutorial quick. You don't need to see that. And I guess I need to install Coriolis module. Let's see here. Yep, I do. Give me 1 second. And so I never did a review on it because I just didn't enjoy it that much. There we go. Let me get my dice in. Gonna reload this. We'll see how it looks. There we are. That's so interesting. It does not put a... So every other Coriolis... Come on. It's loading the stuff right now. That's why. Every other version of for Free League has created... Oh my gosh, it started its own music. I'm going to stop that. That's a little bit annoying. That also freaked me out that it started automatically. Let's bring it back over here. So every other thing for Free League, every time you install their core system, it's going to give you a default wallpaper, and this didn't. So this is Coriolis The Third Horizon. This is the old setting for Coriolis. Technically the second. I didn't even know there was one before it. Really, really cool. it's not for everybody. It really builds the story out for the right table. Forbidden Land's my absolute favorite RPG, and damaging the core stats is a big reason why. Bummer it's not in this. If you had a weird pushback, it's not for everyone. Really builds the story for the right tempo. It's one of the things that I really appreciate about Cypher Numenera is that your attributes or resources you have to manage. But people are getting away from it. Like the new version of Cypher is putting in a wound system so you don't attack the attributes directly anymore. And they kind of did it for this too. I like the idea of things becoming more desperate as you take damage. I roll so many ones that I'm going to be breaking myself constantly anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But this is Coriolis, the Third Horizon, and let's show you, because one of the things that Free League does really well is they manage somehow to take the design language of the print book and bring it into the Foundry module. And you can see, where's my compendiums? They're there. So you can see that in here, ship sheet, roll tables. Oh, did it just put it in journals? It did. It imports it automatically. So this is kind of what the book of Coriolis looks like. And it's just very heavy elements. A lot of reverse contrast text. The skeuomorphism is all over the place. I just don't like it. I had a hard time reading it, and I never reviewed it because of it. But this definitely feels like the book, and the artwork is beautiful. I can't tell you that the book is not beautiful, because it actually is. It functions really well as an art book. It just doesn't function well as a book. So the rules change a little bit from Coriolis, the Third Horizon, to this. Pretty cool. I very much prefer the layout and design language of this book over Third Horizon, which is why I'm getting ready to review it. Kind of fun. Anyway, so that's what we got going on for that. Let me get back over here. We don't need to see Foundry anymore. And it's just me tonight. Yay. Dave was doing something. Dave and I were considering streaming last night, but I wanted to do something with my wife last night. He's doing something with his wife tonight. And we're just two ships on the sea today, this week. So kind of fun. But been having fun making those characters. I'm looking forward to learning the system a little bit better so that I can run some one-shots in it, get a feel for it. I love Free League games. I love Year Zero engine games. It's really, really cool. A lot of tension built in the rolls. The mechanics are fast. Those are things that I look for in a game. Very, very cool. So hopefully we will be able to be running that sometime in the next couple of months. And I will say, go back to the Forge so I can stop the server. Don't need it anymore. How was my Easter? My Easter was good. I'll talk about it in a second. So I just got the Foundry module for Coriolis the Great Dark because I wanted to make characters. Been putting that off. I still don't have this book in PDF yet. I might be picking that up over the next month or so. For the review, I like having the PDF there so I can search for things if I forget something or where something is. And Free League is very gracious. They're sending me print and PDF copies of their 2 expansions for the Great Dark. So the Broken Library and Flowers for Algerib is the campaign that they have. I'll trumpet. Thank you so much, man. So they're sending me print copies of those. Those should be showing up pretty soon. So this is going to change my review structure a little bit. When people send me stuff, I like to try to get it as fast as I can. So I am going to finish Coriolis the Great Dark as my next review. And I have Ecclesiacon coming this whole time too. So trumpet, that was really nice of you. So I'm going to be kind of busy. I am going to read Redacted next because I really want to read that game. It's really a fun looking system. 1950s, the aliens are real. Beautiful. Got to get to that. And then I'm going to try to get to those 2 Coriolis supplements as my next. So the next major arc of reviews on the channel is going to be dealing with Coriolis the Great Dark. And I think it's that good a system that it deserves that type of attention. So I'm kind of cool with that. And then I'm going to definitely get to TMNT. What else do I got here? And we're going to do Pirate Borg for the book club next month. We have to schedule that. A couple other things over there as well. And Trash Sexy and Shadow West are 2 other things that I just got done. Very, very good. And I did have a great Easter. So talk about Easter for me. It was a little bit different this year. So I did my typical thing. I woke up 4:30 in the morning on Easter. So much fun. Took my shower, did, my morning routine. I do like devotion every morning, so I don't touch my technology except for reading my scripture passages for that day. And it's really kind of fun because I'm reading Song of Songs right now during Easter, and it's like, woo, this is steamy. So read that, didn't even have time to make coffee this morning, and headed out. So I was out the door by 5:45, up to where we do the sunrise service with a bunch of churches in the area. It's the longest running sunrise service in South Jersey. This, I think, was the 96th or 93rd year. Kind of wild. It was really creepy this morning. It was a lot of fog because we've had a lot of fronts rolling through. And but it turned out to be a very good service. Pretty cool. It was one gentleman who's been here the whole time I've been here. He's retiring this year, so it was his last service. That was kind of fun. And I think I've only missed one of these, and that was for COVID. So that was fun. Came home and basically, I stopped at Starbucks, picked up coffee, because coffee is yes. And got home, said hello to my wife, said hello to my little, and basically ran over to my church and got ready for our service at 9:30. Was done by 10:30. I went around, greeted all of our Brazilian sister church as they were coming in, getting ready for their Easter service. They rock the place. I'm old now. It's like it's too loud, and then came back over here and we chilled for a little bit, and we actually just went out for lunch. We didn't do a big Easter dinner here. My wife's parents they were doing a baptism at their church on Easter, and they really wanted to be. They were asked to be there, so they left yesterday. So we didn't have family here, so we didn't have a big Easter dinner. We're like, well, let's just go out for lunch. And I never realized restaurants are open on Easter, but they apparently all are. And I got a barbecue chicken wrap, and that was my Easter dinner, which is fine by me. And then we came home and crashed. I played a little Oceanhorn 3, and then my son and I were playing some Roblox, and I made characters and did walking on my walking treadmill. So I got about an hour and a half in. So that was my Easter. And it turned around, it was suddenly 7 o'clock. It was kind of crazy. So it's a very, very good Easter. And after a long week, because Holy Week is a gauntlet, makes it seem like it's a negative. It's not, but there's a lot going on. And when you're very, very introverted, finding the time that you need or the space that you need to kind of be with yourself and reclaim kind of your brain is hard. So getting through the gauntlet, a good gauntlet of Holy Week and Easter and all that goes along with it, it was just nice to not have people here so that I didn't have to entertain or feel like I had to entertain. I really don't have to entertain my in-laws. They're pretty awesome. But I feel like I at least have to make an attempt to be an entertainer for them, which I'm terrible at, by the way. So it was nice not to have anybody here, and I could just kind of crash. My extended family was having a party over at one of my cousins, and they're like, you should come. I'm like, I think I'm going to take a nap. And that's what I did. And that's nice. It was a very good Easter. Sometimes holidays should just be restful. Kind of fun. And for my friends who are Orthodox Easter, happy Palm Sunday for all of you, because you get to start the gauntlet this week. So Continued to read Coriolis, the Great Dark. Will not get this review done this week. I can tell you that for certain because I'm taking a week off. It's vacation time. So, but I will tell you this. I've shared this on the Discord, so they've seen drafts of it. I've got two scripts that are written. I'm in the third edit process of it now. Didn't get a whole lot of negative pushback on either of these. So that, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but one is on how I create my chaos adventures. That's going to be the second of the two. And the other one is going to be about kind of what it's like or how you can go about maybe trying to run absolutely no prep. It was kind of a fun philosophical paper or script to write for that. It's kind of cool. I do have a couple of other scripts that I'm working on as well. They're going to be sprinkled in here or there. It's kind of fun. It's really, really kind of fun. Oh, and Eric, you always have good religious questions. Because I really don't know what your background is. For me, what is more stressful, Christmas time or Easter time? So, for me, pastorally, Easter. Because there's more for me to do. There's Holy Week is like I said, it's a gauntlet of services, all really good. You're retelling kind of the important story of my faith. So that's really cool. Christmas is not as important in the story of the liturgical year as Easter. Easter is the high point. Christmas is kind of like, oh, this is nice. But Christmas doesn't get set until much, much later than Easter does. And so for me, pastorally, it's definitely Holy Week, Easter. For me personally, Christmas. Because Christmas is there's a discordant note going on all throughout December. So Advent is supposed to be kind of like a mini Lent where you're pausing and you're reflecting and you're doing service and you're trying to have a very sober understanding of yourself in relationship to the world. Like that's what Advent is supposed to be, which are the 4 weeks leading up to Christmas Day, which our culture calls Christmas. So there's a discordant note going on there. So while I'm mentally going, I really want to do this. I just want to pause and reflect and think. I want to put myself in the shoes of people who are hurting, because that's kind of what the story of Advent is. And while that's going on, I go, let's go let's do the Christmas cookie bake off, and let's go to this concert, let's do this there, run over here, over there. And so that's the stress of it, is that discord, because our culture does not understand what Advent is, and we've moved Christmas to the 4 weeks before Christmas Day, and so that's kind of crazy, and it drives me nuts. And what really drives me crazy is when you have people who are supposedly Christian running around screaming about nobody's saying Merry Christmas during Advent, and then after Christmas, while it's actually the Christmas season, because Christmas is literally a 12-day season, they're like, Christmas is over. Like, I don't understand anymore. So it drives me a little bit nuts. So I'll get to Coriolis. What's the difference between a pastor and deacon? It really depends on denomination. In some denominations, a deacon is someone who's on the way to full ordination to become a ordained priest or clergy member. In low church denominations like me, I'm Baptist, a deacon is like just a servant of the church. Pastor is the ordained person. Sometimes, because we make it up as we go along. Just curious, what branch of religion is this? Well, the stuff that I was just talking about with Advent and Easter and Holy Week and all that, that was just broad Christian theology. My church is American Baptist. Yep. and we're not very good at it. So there we go. I guess you always ask some very good questions. And thank you for actually, first off, thank you for asking them. Because those are the things you like, that's the thing you don't talk about nowadays, right? So thank you for asking them in like a really honest, curious way. And thank you for just letting me answer honestly back. It's just, I really appreciate it. It's not why I don't do this to do that. I want to show you cool games and relax and have fun. But it's really nice that you guys ask and that you're interested. And that's something I really, really appreciate. And I'm very grateful for it. So thank you. You're very kind. Thanks, Phil. Love it. Well, folks are very kind. And I really hope that no matter what your faith background or your philosophical background, whatever it is, that's what you encounter here is like kind. You don't have to agree with me. I don't agree with me half the time. I'm a little bit confused that way. But you don't have to agree with me about my faith or even my choice of games. Some people get more angry about my choice of games than my faith. It's very strange. You don't have to agree with me. Just agree that you at least can experience some kindness here. And if we bring it, then that's something we should be able to expect to be given back. Because there are some people who show up and they're just like, yeah, you don't need to be here. Because they're just not going to be kind. It's kind of sad. Happened very, very rarely on the channel, but it has happened. So very good. So thank you, everybody. So keep a lookout for a couple of cool videos. If you are on the Discord, you can go scroll up and see the latest attachments. You can see them both. I think Phil read them both, at least, which I had fun writing. They were pretty good, I thought. Coriolis review is coming up, Redacted after that. Then I'm going to try to get into the Coriolis add-ons that they've put out, the supplements that they put out for the system. To come into that campaign box looks really, really cool. So I'm interested to see what's going on. And I really would like to run this system both in person and online just to see how it rolls, which is fun. Very good. Phil read it. He's like, they're very good. Love your perspective and your insights. Thank you. Yeah, I'm getting over my fear of actually showing my insights because I'm pretty new at this, to tell you the truth, compared to some folks who are doing this. Also, I make it up as I go along. So I'm like, what's your strategy? I don't have one. My strategy is to have fun. That's it. I don't have a plan most times. Being kind is free. There's enough hate in the world as is. Heck yeah. I'm kind of tired of it. I'm very tired of it. Can we just stop bombing people? Wouldn't that be nice? That'd be great. So yeah, that's where we're going. So I am really having a good, gotta start somewhere. Yes, we do. I do have to start somewhere. But I'm going to have a great week off. I am going to write some random thoughts this week. Maybe I'll get a chance to record them wherever I am. It really depends on how much free time I have as we are out and about. And we will see. Should be fun. But if I don't see you again this week, definitely next weekend. And let me get my calendar out so I can tell you what live interviews I've got coming up. Because there's a very important one coming up. It's April. Look at that. So here it is. On next Monday, on April, get rid of my search box, on April 13th at 8:30 p.m., I'm going to be interviewing a couple of the folks, the Merlotron and Phil. Who else is going to be on? I forget. The Merlotron and is it you or Chris? I don't remember who's coming on to talk about Crit, the community-run Infinite Tabletop, which is an online convention that is actually going to be running pretty soon. I am not going to be able to be part of it this year because I'm going to be traveling. I'm a little upset about this, but it is so much fun. Please do it. Probably Chris Butt. I don't like the butt. Why is there a butt? King Eric wants to know what comes after Holy Week, the not so Holy Week. No, what comes after Holy Week is the season of Easter. Easter goes for longer than Lent. Lent is 40 days. Easter is longer than that. It ends at Pentecost. So yes, we have a whole season of Easter. It's not just a Sunday. You're always available. Okay, that but's okay. After I get done with the crit interview on the 20th, I am going to be interviewing Scott Plaskett, who has a system that he's been putting together. He was actually the badge sponsor for Page this year. I met him at GameholeCon called Trinamic. He got a very interesting character build process. It's not typically my thing, but he's done some very heavy lifting on trying to create something interesting. And I talked with him a little bit about it at Gamehole. Have not brought him onto the channel because he had used some filler AI art and stuff that he was selling. Like, you got to get rid of that before you come on. He's gotten rid of all of that. He's like, nope, I understand. We're getting all of it out. And it's all gone. So he's coming on. And we're going to chat about it, which should be good. I get chocolate and eggs until Pentecost. Every day, man. Have chocolate and eggs until Pentecost. Until you get zits all over your face. Have fun. Yeah, have a blast. Absolutely. I'm going to maybe I'll have a cider a day during Pentecost. It'd be great. So that's what I got coming up. Those are my interviews set up. EcclesiaCon is coming May 1st and 2nd, Palmyra, New Jersey. If you want to help raise money for booksmiles.org, 3/4 of proceeds go to that. Quarter of the proceeds go to replacing the roof. Well, it's already been replaced. Repaying the roof replacement loan that we took out is a quarter of that. It's basically the rental fee for using the building, but we get to put it towards something good. So if you want to come, we got lots of great games. I got spaces that are open, and I would love to see some folks there. If you're near the South Jersey, Philly area, please come on down and hang out with us. Should be fun. That's what we got. So I am now tired, and it is, 9:55, and I've been up a long time, and we've been here over an hour, and I can't believe 6 of you have sat down to watch this. Thank you so much. I hope that the character build process was at least semi-clear. I'm working on a smaller screen that I was sharing, so it's a little bit harder, but it was kind of fun. And I thought the character we turned out was pretty cool. So maybe I'll do a ship crew and a bird at some point too, so we can have some fun with that. So folks, until we see each other again, happy playing, everyone. Happy Easter, everyone. For those who are celebrating, for my Jewish friends who are out there, have a blessed Passover. And for everybody else, no matter what you are doing, I hope you just have a great weekend and an awesome week coming up. And until we see each other again, folks, happy playing, everyone.